I originally had another cold open planned for this part of the video, but I just found out, apparently, today, June 30th, is YandereDev / Alex Mahan's birthday. So scrap that old cold open. This cold open is dedicated to your birthday, bro. Yeah. Happy birthday. Let's get on with the video. Hey guys! And a half, it's me, your boy, Caleb. And today we're here at part 2 of my 3-part video regarding the YandereDev drama. So if you haven't seen part 1, check that out by hitting that iCard or whatever up in the top right corner of your screen. Unless that somehow doesn't show up or something, then you can just check out the link in the description. Regardless, what I'm going to be doing in this video is going over a couple of the videos you suggested for me to check out in the comment section of last week's video. Now obviously, the most requested video was the second Yandere video produced by our favorite BK girl, 483. However, I first wanted to briefly go over a couple points that I should have included in last week's video regarding BK girl's first video. So here we go, let's do these first.
Orca kept it a mystery so he could avoid legal issues with having minors in a game getting sold to the black market or chopped to pieces.
So, thanks to some of you guys in the comments, I've actually learned that the Yakuza will not be in the final game. It will most likely end up in the 80s mode DLC, but not in the final game.
When asked to maybe tell his fans that attacking this girl and bullying is not cool, YandereDev simply gave a robotic response by saying she was attacking his image, thus deserved it. This means he actively promotes the bullying of minors just because they say something like, hey, this might not be a good idea for the game right now, maybe wait on it till later in the game.
Okay, now I'm actually excited for my rebuttal to this because I actually found this all on my own. But Dev actually did tell his fans to stop harassing people on Tumblr. Don't believe me? Well, look at this.
A few years ago, there was a man who openly called for the harassment of the people who he deemed to be toxic. He stated, there are no bad tactics, only bad targets. In other words, he was saying that harassment isn't bad, as long as you're harassing the right people. I don't agree with that man. I prefer a world with zero harassment. I prefer a world where people find a way to settle their differences without resorting to aggression or intimidation. I don't want to see anyone getting harassed, especially not because of me. I don't want anyone to be harassed on my behalf. I don't want anyone to be harassed in my name. I don't want anyone to be harassed in my defense. You may think you're the good guy fighting against the bad guys, but if you're harassing anyone for any reason, you're automatically the new bad guy. How do you stop a serial harasser? You show him firsthand how it feels. If you give him a taste of his own medicine, will he grow a conscience and mend his ways? Should the harassers be harassed? No, I don't think so. I've never seen this tactic solve any problems. It just doesn't work that way. I won't pretend that I don't have conflicting feelings about the situation. There are people who are determined to make my life as miserable as possible, and telling my fans not to defend me might embolden the people who attack me. An anti-harassment post might bring more harassment into my life. Despite that, I'm still going to say what needs to be said. If you think you've identified a person who is causing problems for me, and you're trying to put a stop to them by harassing them on my behalf, I want you to stop. It's not effective, but more importantly, it's not ethical. Don't do it.
So there you go, he actually did discourage harassment on Tumblr. So now that's out of the way, and let's head over to our new video. And as I mentioned in the last part of my series, I was being overly rude in my initial overview of her first video, so I will try to conduct myself more respectfully in this video. Ready? Then let's go!
It's finally time, isn't it? The reason half of you wonderful people subscribed to me this year, a Yandere Simulator video. Now, I put this off for so damn long because I needed more information this time around. Clearly my first video, which was 4 months of research, wasn't enough, I see. So this time I spent most of 2018 searching for information on YandereDev. Now, I was gonna release this video in December, but given his recent actions, I decided that no, wait, I have enough research. I don't need to wait until December and tease you guys until then. So yeah, I'm doing the video now. First, I have some words for you, Alex Mahan, aka YandereDev, or Evazephorn.
Ooh, shit's about to go down. That frown is menacing. You know it's going down.
I know you like to make yourself seem like an innocent angel. You always do in your videos. Everyone in this world is out to make an attack on your life while you sit there and play video games for hours at a time and stream every waking moment of your life, will you lie to your fans that what you do every waking moment of your life is develop the game when that's clearly not the case?
Fact. On average, 3 hours of the day. Fact. If you believe his schedule, then he spends 12 hours of the day working on the game. A full-time job is 8 hours, with weekends off. Dev only takes 1 day off a month.
You're gonna say everything is taken out of context, but don't worry, I'll give your fans context.
Holy shirt, BK girl, 483, you are intimidating me. That fire, I'm a little scared right now.
You're gonna say I'm making an attack on your character? Well, maybe you need a wake-up call for how you treat others. You're 29 or something, for goodness sake. How is it a 20-year-old like myself is being more mature than you right now? Finally, I know you'll send witch hunts to your fans if I name anyone, so here in this video, everyone is going to remain anonymous for their protection. I don't want anyone getting hurt. Unlike YandereDev, I won't close comments and I can take criticism. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Oh no, you got rid of the Majora's Mask effect. That's disappointing. I liked that effect.
When has YandereDev ever said that he's grateful to you fans other than thanking you for the development of the game? Time and time again, Alex has said multiple times how his fans constantly bother him and apparently stop him from developing the game.
Okay, let's be fair. Some of his extremely dedicated fans spend basically all day spamming him with emails or posting like 40 questions on Reddit. Like take this Reddit post for example. I know you don't like when we ask questions, but still. First of all, this person knows that Dev tries to answer as many questions as possible, no matter how stupid they are. And yet they still decide to take away from his time by asking, what? Who's your favorite rival? Well, the Basu sisters have stockings. 7 whole questions? Oh, now multiply this post times 50 to get the amount of daily posts you'll see on Reddit. And while I obviously can't check inside of his email inbox to confirm, but I am sure it's a similar situation. Another interesting thing to note here is that this post is from just a couple days ago. But Caleb, I thought that Dev was done with this subreddit because of drama and stuff. He was, and is. This is from his brand new subreddit. Now this update is obviously quite controversial. But just wait, I will cover this whole new subreddit thing in part 3. Okay? So, let's continue.
Remember Midori Gurin and how he kills her every time she asks a question that has some actual sound to it? Remember how he said Midori is meant to represent fans? Yeah, he clearly loves his fans so much if he wants to stab them in the head when they ask an honest question.
Except, they're not usually honest questions. Okay, well, a lot of them are, but if they are, he'll include them if he's already covered them several times in prior videos, and is clearly irritated that people continue to ask questions without even watching his prior videos that have already addressed these things. Take this for instance.
Oh, wow. We need to have a talk.
Dev really should not have had to make a video on this, but people kept unnecessarily asking this in the comments when it had already been addressed in like every other video. Basically, people just either have short-term memory or just didn't watch his prior videos.
I also have an example here of how a fan asked a simple question and he basically said "F you" to a fan with a simple question. I know what you're saying. Oh, he must have been mad at one fan for asking something earlier.
Now, I was actually planning to address this exact text in my previous video, but I forgot actually. And my response to this is not the response you suggested, I would say. My response instead is this. Now, if I recall correctly, this text exchange occurred right at the height of the drama, when Dev was obviously very stressed, and this unnecessary question regarding the color of a character's hair, obviously pushed him over the edge. Now, does this justify this response? Absolutely not. This should not have been his response. This was a terrible response. However, within the context, it is understandable, especially with his anxiety and his anger issues that I addressed in the previous part of this video.
How about his latest Osana video where he villainized Midori again, who, may I remind you again, is meant to represent the fan base.
Except Midori isn't meant to represent the entire fan base. She's meant to represent the obsessive fans that do spam him with irritating comments and emails 24/7.
by saying you guys are bothering him about getting his damn job done. His fans have every right to ask where Osana is.
Except he'd already addressed the subject several times.
He gets paid thousands on Patreon to finish his game, and yet it isn't enough, and he's gonna ask for a Kickstarter eventually.
Now, the reason he's doing the Kickstarter is in order to hire an entire team of programmers to help get the game done quickly and efficiently. In fact, here's something quite interesting many of you probably didn't know.
I've been working with a programmer for the past few months. It's been a pleasant experience so far. Anyway, I'll be publicly mentioning it in an upcoming blog post.
So, with this new information, there are two things that we can get out of this. First of all, he's been using his money honestly quite well for the past few months. And second of all, this is why he's been pumping out updates like a f***ing boss recently. At least that's what I gather. Because so far, 2018 has brought a plethora of new features to the game, and I assume that this mysterious programmer is the reason behind it. Now, if this is how much faster the game's development gets with one programmer, think about the possibilities with an entire team of programmers. Hence why I think this Kickstarter is a great idea.
One last thing about this. Ask yourself, does the creator of this really like his fans if he closed down the comments section, which essentially cuts off contact from majority of his fans?
Now, this was temporary, and oh, wait.
Yes, I know he brought back the comments, but this video was made a week ago, so I can't go back and change it now.
Well, I mean, you could rent a DeLorean. But okay, fine. That's fair.
If my fans were paying me, I'd treat them like royalty and try to create content and progress I know they'll enjoy.
I can't disagree with you on this. In fact, I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, speaking of paying me money, I got myself one of these Patreon thing. I'll talk about it more at the end of part 3 of the video.
Yet with Alex, he just wants to milk his fans' Patreon money for all it's worth and ask for even more from the future Kickstarter.
Question. Is Alex purposely milking his fans, or is he doing it unintentionally? It is happening, so the question is more of, is it on purpose? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below.
I asked a very dear friend of mine who's also a game developer for VR and other projects. I'm not going to say his name or work for his protection, but here we'll call him Mark. Mark and I had a conversation about this, and looking into YandereDev's code, he explained to me how horribly messed up the code is. I also looked into other programmers who have all said the same thing. His code is impossible to work with and makes day one Fallout New Vegas look stable. I'm not going to pretend here like I know immense programming. I've just worked with coding here and there on Tumblr themes and games I developed for a game development class in high school, okay? I do enough to tell you by just looking at it, the code is a hot mess.
Yeah, I agree. The whole else if thing is redundant. Hopefully the programmers hired from his Kickstarter will be able to fix his code, because Dev has even admitted on stream that if any real programmers saw this code, they'd be horrified. Notice how he says real programmers, because again, Alex himself admits that nobody ever actually taught him how to code. He taught himself. So I mean, honestly, it makes sense that his spaghetti code is so trash.
Want to know another fact? The gaming company YandereDev say he worked for, he wasn't even a programmer. He simply played test the games, and they weren't even for PC, they were for phones, which, as you know, phones run on a completely different operating system than computers do.
This is all completely correct.
Look at the code for Yonder Simulator yourself. Look at how absolutely cluttered and messy the game's coding is, with all this .this variables in it. Mind you, this is just loading textures, by the way. Here's a similar code for loading a ball into a game provided by Unity, aka the engine YandereDev is using, by the way, who has basic coding lessons on their website. Look at how clean and neat it looks in comparison to, again, this.
I honestly really hope that Dev ports the game from Unity to another engine before its full release, because I agree. Unity is trash. In fact, Wednesday, I'm releasing one final Yandere Simulator video in which I'll talk about the possibility of porting it to Unreal Engine. So stay tuned for that.
I don't really know where to put this one, but I would also like to mention he streams for hours on end every single day, despite the fact that he tells his fans that he works all day every day on the game.
So, most people seem to forget a certain detail from a while back. At the end of one of his videos, he had a poll. The poll asked, should I take 2 or 3 hours off a day to relax and play video games, along with 1 day a month? The poll said yes, so he did. And as you can see from here, he does stick to his schedule, and he stated that if he goes over 3 hours, that overtime just takes away from his eating time and his sleeping time, not the game development time.
How about I show you one quick highlight from his Twitch, eh?
Oh, I think I already know what's coming. Guys, headphone users warning. Okay, she turned down the initial clip. I remember the original clip f***ing jump scaring me like, Dev, that's a hard oof on your part. Remember what I said about anger issues?
How about an artist who wanted to post her concept art for the ghost character on Tumblr but was told to take the picture down despite it being her own art because it ruined the illusion of the character? How delusional do you have to be to try and make a clearly fictional character seem real? It's like that stupid Herobrine thing Minecraft fans like.
Wait, are there still Minecraft fans?
Want to know why she posted her art to begin with? YandereDev didn't even credit her. But then again, this is an easy fact already, that YandereDev often doesn't credit or outright steals fan art from other people. Oh, I know. Let's see what he has to say about stealing all this fan art for fake silhouettes of DLC characters. He basically admitted it. Wow. Let me be honest with you, YandereDev. Tracing over someone else's fan art is still stealing. Your excuse for, I drew over it, so it's mine now, is basically the exact same thing children on DeviantArt use when they want to make those shitty self-insert drawings.
And that is probably the most justified criticism of him. He does. Although anything stolen that's present in the game itself is actually slowly being removed with each build, so it shouldn't be a problem after the game's final release.
It was about halfway through recording this video that I was alerted on information on everything I've been saying in this video through a post YandereDev made on his blog. I don't know why he didn't make a video about it, but, you know, whatever.
Well, the reason why is because when he made his last 2 damage control videos, he got tons of shit for wasting his time on those videos, which is actually a big reason he temporarily disabled comments. According to him, blog posts only take 2 or 3 hours to write, whereas videos take 2 to 3 days to create. And also, another note, now this is all in good fun, but is that a watermark on that photo? You're supposed to purchase that photo online, and after a reverse image search, I found that the site the image originated from charges $197 a month. Never mind, you're in the right here. That is unfucking believable. Who charges for... Anyway, 190... Wow.
And it seems, wow, he actually addresses every problem I have with him as a person. I mean, he still won't admit to play roleplay, but the game's illegal, and since he's afraid of legal action, it seems maybe that's why?
I mean, I don't know anyone who would admit to playing, that. I mean, is he really in the wrong on that one? In fact, question, is he really in the wrong on that one? Tell me in the comment section below.
I would like to mention that again, his wording once more comes off as an innocent victim in a sea of haters. YandereDev, you literally admit to yourself in a quote, 12% of fans have turned against me. Dude, you know that's not a big number, right? If you said 30 or 40, then I'd be actually impressed, but like, that's the same percentage of how far you are in game development.
Okay, I know that's a joke, but it's incorrect. Anyway, the reason he brought that statistic up in his blog post, though, was actually to show that he realized things aren't as bad as he was making them out to be. This was him realizing his mistake. I think the context here might have been slightly misinterpreted on your part.
I actually have a better idea. Don't announce the game at all if it isn't anywhere near ready yet.
Honestly, a good point. However, didn't he originally announce the idea for the game on like a forum? And that was before he had even fully committed to working on it. And then it blew up on the forum. And then after that, that's when it blew up. So I really don't know if that's his fault. Question, was that really his fault?
That Cyberpunk 77 game you mentioned? Yeah, they didn't have a release date because they announced the concept of the game. And even then, everyone hates when people announce just a concept.
Again, it's not like he announced his concept for the game at like E3 or something. He shared his idea on a forum back when he was literally unknown. So I don't know, I don't think that's a valid criticism. Again, you guys tell me in the comment section down below.
He acts like all this bad stuff is in the past, like years ago when the Cuphead stream I showed a while back, that was last year or something, so yeah, he's still acting the same.
And some people have anger issues. I don't think we should be villainizing him for that. I mean, if anything, we should be encouraging him to see a therapist on his 1 day off a month. Maybe then he can work on controlling his temper.
So we're supposed to just kind of openly accept that you wanted to murder your parents in their sleep, got offended when a woman at your school stopped dressing in a way that shows her boobs, and supported school shootings?
There's this thing called mental illness. Okay, I think we can clearly take from this entire, this, that he struggled with severe mental illness in the past, and mental illness absolutely does not make you a bad person. I've known people very close to me who've suffered with a severe mental illness, and even through all the horrible things they did and said, I knew that wasn't really them. When they came back to their senses, they were in shock and anguish. And judging by how close Alex seems to be now with his mom, I think we can all agree that those thoughts were not genuine.
You know Scott Kaufman? Yeah, when he made Chipper and Sons, everyone got what YandereDev calls mean to him about how the game was and his characters look creepy. Did Scott Kaufman delete every comment about it and go on 4chan to sob about it? No, he put on his big boy pants and made a game that'll shape a generation of Chuck E. Cheese fans. Also, probably the reason Chuck E. Cheese is removing animatronics. Just saying, by the way. That game Scott Kaufman made? Five Nights at Freddy's. A game viewed as one of the most successful indie games ever made. Is FNAF a good game? I mean, not entirely, but the point is, he took the negative things people said about him and turned it into something positive.
Absolutely fair point. I agree completely on that.
And I'm gonna be real with you, YandereDev. This whole thing is so stupid because it wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have had to do any of this if you just didn't read the comments section. If you can't handle criticism, don't go looking for it. It's not that hard.
Except he obviously wants to hear people's thoughts on his new features. And it's not like he can't handle any criticism. He just can't handle criticism that's remotely negative. Still a massive problem, of course, but he looks in his comments for constructive criticism. On Reddit, he'll often respond to posts of constructive criticism. So obviously, check his comments to see if he can improve on any of these features.
Before I end this video, I have some things to clarify about the first video, cause I have a feeling people aren't gonna read the description of that one. Okay, yeah, I was wrong about Senpai's sister. I get a lot of comments about that, and it was even mentioned in a video. Considering the context YandereDev gave about how every female rival wants Senpai's romantic love,
As mentioned in my previous video, the nurse, teacher, and Megami all aren't really romantic focused. I think it's safe to assume that the bad ending of each of their weeks will end up in romance, but they're not rivals because of romance. The nurse is taking up too much of Senpai's time due to poor mental health. The teacher wants attention, and Megami wants to catch Yanchan.
and Hanako had romantic hearts around her in her character introduction. Don't you think it's easy to come to that conclusion? Yeah, it is easy. It's a major curveball to throw all these romantic rivals, and one that's not to mention his background I mentioned kinda earlier, so. I would also like to mention it's a huge curveball when you consider she's the second to last rival, and all other rivals up until this point were romantically interested in him.
Well, she's second to last because she's the second hardest rival. I mean, we know you have to be careful with which rivals you kill, as Senpai's mental health decreases with each death. And we also know that killing his sister would drastically affect his mental health. So you'll have to use a peaceful elimination method. But she doesn't even go to their same school, and she's constantly around Senpai at home. She's gonna be a very tricky rival to beat, and honestly, I think her placement in the roster of rivals is perfect.
And to you, Alex, who will eventually watch this video thanks to the power of social media and the internet, know that if you do anything, you'll just prove my point. Try to take this video down and you'll prove that you're a man-child who can't handle anyone critiquing your personality or work as a game developer. Any kind of action you take against me for this video will further prove my point that you're someone who can't handle anything anyone says about you without viewing it as a damn near attack on your life. Then again, he's an actual man-child who can't handle anything, so like you probably won't even watch this video.
Oof, what a roast right there. I award BK Girl 483 with the Roast of the Year award. You have worked very hard for this, and you've earned it. Now, I have a couple of other videos I want to make a couple comments on, and then you guys can head over to part 3 for the rest of everything. And I won't be talking about Arjun's video, though, because that video is just too easy and several people have already covered it. Okay, so, somebody in my comment section asked me to comment on the video, The True Nature of YandereDev, a video made by Yandere Simulator Secret, which is a channel solely dedicated to Yandere Simulator. And I gotta say, I couldn't find much wrong with the video. I mean, it just gave viewers facts, and and it seemed to stay neutral about the whole thing. I mean, even in the description, they say that they don't hate YandereDev, and that you can make your own conclusion with this information, which is sort of similar to the video I'm doing now. I also got another suggestion on Twitter from Twitter user @SuperMREG, and he sent me a couple of other things that I will cover in part 3, but for now, he told me to comment on this clip specifically from this guy's video.
He still does some things that I can't defend at all, such as staring at anime girls commenting about their large chests, and making really gross slurping sounds.
Those are some big busty boobies.
Like, you're welcome to do that in the privacy of your own basement, but when you do that while streaming, it's foolish to say the least.
Thanks for that. I personally consider that to be more comedic, but I mean, I guess I can understand if that offends you. But I highly doubt that those slurping sounds weren't meant to be comedic. They obviously were. And I guess that's the thing about comedy. There's a different type for anyone. So if you don't like this kind of comedy, then that's fine. That's the whole point of comedy. Anyway, part 2 ended on a very weird note. But the saga continues with part 3, the final part. So make sure to leave a like on the video if you did indeed like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you already are subscribed, then hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we post one of our 11 out of 10 videos. And as always, thanks for watching.
They wanna take over